There are 7 manipulation tactics being used on you right now. Your mind is programmed to ignore every warning sign. These psychological weapons target your empathy, your trust, your need to belong. But once you recognize them, you become untouchable. For decades, these tactics have been studied in psychology labs and weaponized against women specifically. They exploit what makes you human, your capacity for love and connection. Today, that changes because when you can see the invisible, it loses all power. Dr. Robert Cialdini's research identified 6 principles that govern human decision-making: reciprocity, commitment, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. Manipulators weaponize these natural tendencies. Women face unique vulnerabilities because their socialization amplifies certain weaknesses. From childhood, girls are taught to be agreeable, consider others' feelings, maintain harmony. These beautiful qualities become entry points for manipulation. Dr. Lundy Bancroft documented how manipulative individuals systematically identify and exploit these conditioned responses. They don't see your empathy as a gift. They see it as a tool they can use. But knowledge changes everything. When you understand both universal influence principles and how they're targeted at feminine psychology, you develop conscious resistance. You can choose when to be influenced and when to resist. Let's examine the 7 most common tactics used specifically against women. The first tactic exploits your desire for connection. They reflect back your emotions, values, and dreams with uncanny accuracy. This creates artificial soulmate connection. Dr. Martha Stout documents how this mirroring combines with future faking, detailed promises about a shared future that will never materialize. They paint vivid pictures of the life you'll build together. Women's mate selection is influenced by signs of long-term commitment and emotional attunement. When someone appears to understand you deeply and commits to a future, it triggers powerful bonding mechanisms. If someone is mirroring you perfectly and making grand future promises within the first few weeks, this is your red flag. Your intuition knows genuine connection develops slowly. Trust that wisdom, when it feels too perfect too fast, step back and observe their consistency over months, not moments. The second tactic weaponizes your caregiving instincts. They share carefully selected vulnerabilities, often involving past trauma. This isn't genuine, it's strategic disclosure to activate your protective responses. Dr. Patrick Carnes' research on trauma bonding shows how this creates psychological hooks. When someone appears wounded and you help them heal, your brain interprets this as deep connection. They alternate between vulnerability and strength. One day they need you desperately, the next they're your protector. This creates intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive pattern in psychology. If they suddenly share deep trauma stories precisely when you're pulling away, this is strategic manipulation. You deserve authentic vulnerability, not calculated disclosure. Watch for this pattern. When you question the relationship, suddenly they need you desperately. That's not coincidence. That's control. The third tactic separates you from support through seemingly reasonable concerns. They plant seeds of doubt about people closest to you. I worry that your friend doesn't want what's best for you. Dr. Judith Herman documents how this unfolds gradually. These statements appear caring but systematically undermine trust in others' intentions. You begin limiting contact with people who might offer perspective. Women are vulnerable because society teaches romantic relationships should be primary. When someone offers complete understanding, you may not notice they're building walls around you. If you find yourself constantly defending your partner to friends and family, stop and listen to what your loved ones are seeing. Your relationships are precious. Anyone who truly loves you will want to enhance them, not compete with them. When someone makes you choose between them and everyone else, choose everyone else. The fourth tactic attacks your trust in your own perceptions. Gaslighting involves systematically denying or distorting your reality until you question your sanity. Dr. Robin Stern identifies 3 stages: disbelief, defense, then depression. They claim conversations never happened, deny promises, insist you're remembering incorrectly. You're being too sensitive, that never happened, you're imagining things. Women are vulnerable because you're socialized to doubt emotional reactions. Phrases like calm down and you're overreacting train you to second-guess your instincts. If you're constantly questioning your own memory or feel like you're going crazy, start documenting everything. Your perceptions matter and deserve validation. Keep a private journal of conversations, save text messages, and trust your initial reactions. Because if you're questioning your sanity, that's not you, that's the gaslighting working. The fifth tactic creates artificial scarcity around affection. It begins with overwhelming displays of love, then dramatic withdrawal without explanation. Dr. Margaret Singer's research shows how intermittent reinforcement creates psychological dependence. During love bombing, your brain releases bonding chemicals. When attention withdraws, you experience genuine withdrawal symptoms. You analyze your behavior, wondering what you did wrong. You work harder to regain initial intensity. This creates cycles where you're constantly trying to earn back artificially created love. If you're constantly trying to earn back the intensity of early attention, you're caught in a manipulation cycle. You deserve steady, consistent love, not an emotional roller coaster. When someone withdraws affection to make you chase them, stop chasing and start walking away. Genuine love doesn't play games. The sixth tactic creates financial dependency. This begins with generous offers that gradually become restrictions. They pay for things, suggest you don't need to work, encourage expensive purchases. Dr. Jody Raphael's research shows financial control is often the invisible chain keeping victims trapped. When your security depends on someone else's goodwill, you lose power to make independent choices. Women face additional vulnerability due to wage gaps and societal expectations about financial roles. If you see financial support as love, you may not recognize when it becomes control. If someone's generosity comes with strings attached or makes you dependent, recognize this as financial control. Your independence is your freedom. Never trade it for temporary security. Keep your own accounts, know your credit score, and maintain the ability to support yourself, because true love enhances your independence. It never restricts it. The seventh tactic uses guilt and pressure to override sexual boundaries. This isn't violent coercion, it's subtle pressure making you feel guilty for having boundaries. If you really loved me, it's been so long, you're hurting my feelings. They make you responsible for their emotional state or sexual satisfaction. Dr. Eli Coleman documents how this erodes bodily autonomy. You begin seeing your boundaries as selfish. You start having sex to keep peace rather than from desire. If someone makes you feel guilty for having sexual boundaries, they're showing you exactly who they are. Believe them. Your body belongs to you completely, and your boundaries are non-negotiable. When they say, if you really loved me, respond with, if you really respected me. You wouldn't ask and never apologize for protecting yourself. Now let's build your psychological defense system. Awareness is first, but protection requires conscious resistance. The first defense is to trust your intuition. Dr. Gavin DeBecker's research shows your unconscious processes threat signals faster than conscious mind. That uncomfortable feeling is pattern recognition, not paranoia. The second defense is to maintain independent identity. Healthy relationships enhance who you are. Keep friendships, interests, and goals. If someone requires you to minimize yourself, that's manipulation. The third defense is to understand compromise versus capitulation. Healthy compromise involves both people adjusting. If you're always the one sacrificing, you're being controlled. The fourth defense is to build support networks. Isolation is manipulation's best friend. Maintain relationships with people who knew you before and will be honest about what they observe. Remember, you cannot control others' behavior, but you can control your response. You cannot make someone respect boundaries, but you can enforce consequences. This is your power. When you understand manipulation, you stop taking it personally. You become untouchable. If this knowledge opened your eyes to patterns you've experienced, you're not alone. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your recognition could be someone else's awakening. Forward this to a woman who needs to see it. Your courage to spread awareness could save someone from years of psychological manipulation. Subscribe and ring the notification bell because in the next video we're exposing the art of seduction, dark feminine psychology secrets. You'll discover how authentic feminine magnetism works versus manipulation and why most women confuse the two. The real power isn't in the tactics, it's in the understanding, and understanding is just the beginning. Until next time, remember, you are untouchable.